The UFC 308 pre-fight press conference went down earlier today, and this is going to be my recap and reaction to it. I'm going to briefly discuss pretty much everything that was touched upon, but I'm going to be reacting to key moments from the press conference as well. I'm looking forward to jumping right into things. Make sure you guys smash that damn like button, and if you're new, subscribe it up. And let's start it off. Topuria, he was first asked about this fight comparison to the Volkanovski fight, like the lead up to, fighting for a belt as opposed to defending the title. He essentially said no difference and he's ready for a win. And he even gave us a based prediction, which is something that I love about Ilia Topuria. And let's run the clip.
It's going to be exactly the same. I'm going to take these lights out in the first round.
Base prediction. See, what I love about Topuria is the fact that he's willing to give us his honest thoughts of the fight. And he's, I think, being sincere that he thinks it's going to be a one-round fight. Whereas Max Holloway, I mean, you'll see throughout this video, most of his answers were, we'll see, or we're going to find out on Saturday night. That's really not what fans are looking for. At press conferences, you want somebody who's based like Ilia Topuria. Call him cocky, call him arrogant. I call him extremely confident. And I'll tell you this, Ilia Topuria is really growing on me. I'm a fan. I like how he is. Topuria was also asked about, the Volk win. He said, I took out Volk in the first or the second round, rather. I'm going to take Max out in round number 1. And Ilia was then asked about Holloway's climb back to the top. And then if he beats him, would you want him to stick around? Kind of useless question, to be fair. Topuria essentially said, I don't care. That's his business, not mine. I care about my business. He don't care about what Max Holloway is doing. Now, Max was also asked about Topuria saying it's essentially a shame that he's considered the best boxer in the UFC. And guess what Max Holloway said? He said, we're going to find out Saturday night. We're going to find out in a few days. I swear to you guys, that was his answer to 90% of the questions at this press conference. Holloway definitely didn't thrive on the microphone, as opposed to Topuria, who I think brought the fire. I love what I saw from Ilia. Max was then asked about, a win here being the farthest apart title reigns in UFC history. And then he essentially just said, keep grinding, man. He could do it too. It was actually asked that, could Topuria do the same? I don't understand these questions. They didn't make any sense to me. I thought they were kind of random and not worth really touching upon much. I just thought it was weird. I was like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Very strange. Now, next up, you see Khamzat already on the screen. I'm bringing it up. First thing, though, Rob Whittaker was asked how he rates Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling. I didn't feel it was worthwhile to play the clip. Rob essentially said, I'm going to try my hardest not to wrestle. Yeah, he might be the best wrestler I ever fought, but I want to keep it to my strengths, which he's alluding to, the striking realm. He says, show me, I'm ready, I want it. Rob was asked if he thinks the fight is going to go 25 minutes. And, he said that he's ready for a 25-minute sprint. He said he's going to leave it all out there. He's going to go his hardest. He's going to, hunt for a finish. He wants a finish, but he's ready for war over the 25 minutes. Now, Khamzat immediately asked the question. The cheers are coming. And Khamzat was actually pretty funny when he was asked about, is this fight going 25 minutes? Essentially the same question to Khamzat as was asked to Rob. He's like, listen, I'm here for a finish. And we can play what he said. This is a funny clip.
I'm here to finish somebody. I'm here to fight, man. So maybe come here and jump around like kangaroo, man. I don't.
The kangaroo shit is funny, man. Khamzat's underrated with his humor on the microphone. I don't think it's intentional humor, but he says slick shit, especially with his limited English. The fact that he can bring consistent answering of questions in English with pretty elaborate answers is something that always makes me proud with Khamzat Chimaev. And I don't know what the pundits are talking about, that Khamzat looks off this week. Khamzat's a nice guy now. He doesn't have that dog. Absolute BS. This is Dad Khamzat. Father Khamzat in the cage, I believe, is going to be Khamzat 2.0. He's got a son now. Okay, his son had a little bit of health issues, only having one kidney. He had a surgery. There's a lot on the line for Khamzat here. Khamzat said he's looking for the finish. And he was also asked, is his striking being overlooked? Which I do anticipate his striking to look fine with Rob Whittaker. I honestly agree with the narrative, or rather I'm against the narrative that states that Khamzat has no chance in boxing with Rob. Khamzat can strike too, and the wrestling threat that he brings allows his striking to look even better. He just said, listen, I'm going to go out there and do my best. Now, the question then jumped to Magomed Ankalev, who, let's just give a round of applause. Looking like a top contender. I love the style that he's got. He looks like an absolute savage bird, the real-life bird person for those Rick and Morty fans out there. Magomed was asked about Rakic potentially being the toughest opponent he faced and like the puzzle that he's bringing to the table. Magomed the Chad, that's what we're going to call him. He gives a pretty definitive answer, and he kind of threw a light little jab out at the UFC and the current champion of the weight class, which is Alex Ferreira. Let's play the clip. Here's a translation.
I think the only reason that the UFC put him in front of me is to defend their champion. So we're going to go across from him. We're going to roll him.
He said, the only reason they put him in front of me is to defend their champion. I thought that was great. Magomed Ankalaev should have already had the title shot, or it should have already been, the next match to make. I don't necessarily think that he needed a Rakic fight. I actually think a Blachowicz rematch could have been bigger, but obviously Blachowicz dealing with some injuries. The Rakic fight was next up. Prochazka not available. Jamal Hill. Honestly, Jamal Hill got injured, but it could have been a fight. If Jamal Hill was available, I would have been interested. The Rakic fight is an interesting one because I think a lot of people really loved Rakic in the first 4 minutes against Prochazka, but then he fell apart. He fell all the way apart. He got knocked out. But in the first 4 minutes, he looked like the world champ. The thing is, Rakic is a guy that needs to strike from range, and Magomed Ankalaev is a very good patient pressure fighter with clean boxing, and I think that's way too much for him. Now, Rakic, I'm not going to play a clip of anything that he said because, it's nothing too crazy. He was asked about what he expected, and he said a hard fight between two well-rounded guys, and I want the title shot. But I'll at the very least show you Neo from the Matrix in the house. Holy shit, we're living in the Matrix, guys. There he is. Neo is in the UFC now. Cool shades. I respect the look. I like what Rakic brought to the table. He's a funny dude. Let me see what the next clip I have is. Yeah, it's a Topuria clip, but there's some things that were said between Dan Ige and Lerone Murphy, as well as Shara Bullet, which I want to briefly go over. I'll just bring up the pictures of the guys on screen. You can see, actually, shout out Oscar Willis for his bare knuckle FC win. But you can see Dan Ige there. Ige was asked about lessons that he took from his last fight. He said confidence, believe in what he's capable of, and he's ready for a 15-minute violent war. That's what he's expecting. And let's hope so, because the over 2.5 is in the lock parlay. And I do think it's going over 2.5 rounds, to be fair. And he said he's prepared for a back and forth. Lerone Murphy was asked, where does he think he finds success in the fight? And what's interesting is Lerone Murphy considers himself, a hyper-elite striker. I think he's a good striker, and I think he's a good grappler. I don't know about hyper-elite striker. But, hey, listen, he's got to be confident. He said that he respects the power on the opposite side with Dan Ige, and he knows how well-rounded he is. But he said he's going to put on a good show, and he's looking for 50 Gs. I don't know. Fight of the night bonus would be interesting here. I think this would be a surprise fight of the night. Definitely not impossible with the way Dan Ige fights. He could definitely bring out the dog in Lerone Murphy. But when I think of Lerone Murphy fights, I think of good fights. I don't necessarily think of fight of the nights, though. I think of well-rounded skills. I think of him showing all his tools, mixing in wrestling. We'll find out. Now, next up, Shara Bullet, who, is essentially a massive fan favorite at this point. He was asked about Petrosyan, who said that he knows Shara's weakness and if he thinks he's coming to wrestle. And Shara said, of course he's coming to wrestle. Now, he didn't say it in English, but he said, of course he's coming to wrestle me. What do you think, yo? When things are going bad, he's going to be looking to shoot. Then Armen Petrosyan was asked if he's going to wrestle. And Petrosyan kind of like alluded to, listen, we're going to strike. We're going to feel it out. The game plan is going to be to strike, but hey, it's MMA. We'll see what happens. And then Shara kind of butted in. He said, obviously not in English. It got translated. He said, when I start kicking, it's going to get bad real quick. And I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I think that as soon as the kicks are flowing, things are going to be trouble. I think it's not going to go good. Now, it went back to Topuria and Holloway. Not necessarily like a worthwhile clip to play of Max, but we'll bring him up on screen with respect to the G. Holloway was asked then if he was surprised Topuria didn't bring the BMF belt, because Topuria, he had that replica in the, I guess it's not a face-to-face, but the Zoom call pre-fight interview between the two. Holloway said, listen, it's all mind games, and he can't wait to fight. I'm telling you, bro, Max Holloway was very cut and dry. I've tuned into Max Holloway's live streams on Kick, and if you follow the channel in my lives, we've all been in the chat a bit, trying to get him watch me shadowboxing and stuff like that. Lately, he ain't been in the mood for none of that shit, man. He ain't been in the mood. Topuria was then asked about being the first person to KO Max Holloway. And listen, Ilia Topuria is a confident man. Ilia Topuria's confidence, I would say, is essentially next level. He said that Topuria says no one has power like him in their hands. I'm sorry for the fumble of the words, man. I was just flowing quick. Topuria's aura is just too heavy. I was mesmerized, okay? Topuria says no one that, didn't knock out Max before, like the Poiriers, the Volks, etc. They don't have power like him. And he said you're going to change your mind after Saturday night, saying that he's going to be the first one to take the lights out, or shut the lights out, I should say, of Max Holloway. Now, we can play an Ilia Topuria clip because he's consistently cold on the mic, and we'll run it.
We'll see, guys. I will be the first one to take his lights out.
He's cold. He'll be the first one to take his lights out. And he said it multiple times. He's telling Max Holloway, listen, I'm knocking you out. There's nothing you can do about it. Whereas Holloway, you ask him how the fight's, well, we'll see. We'll find out. We're going to see. Max was then asked about Ilia's Twitter beefs that he's been having with, Bilal, Conor McGregor, etc. Does that mean he's underestimating Max? Max says not at all. And Topuria interrupted, and he said, the Matador, what it does with the bull, I think he's alluding to that. No, he's not distracted. He's ready to go. He's ready for anybody, really. Topuria, again, first round. He just keeps saying first round. And then Topuria had said something about Max only knowing how to speak English. I believe it was because the Spanish questionnaire was trying to ask a question in Spanish to Holloway and wondering if he spoke Spanish. I think that was the time. There was a couple moments in this press conference where there weren't translations, which was a little frustrating, but it is what it is. This same, reporter asked Max, do you think you have any chance against Topuria? Max is like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't find out Saturday night. Tune in. We'll see Saturday night. We'll see Saturday night. Dana was then asked about Spain, and he mentioned that the arenas there are backed up a bit. And then Topuria just pretty much called out the BMF champ, Max Holloway, saying he's not the real BMF. I believe this was in Spanish, and then they translated it. Yeah, that's why I'm not running the clip. And then he said he's going to point to the center of the octagon and see who the real BMF is. And we've heard Holloway kind of push back against the meeting him in the center in the first 10 seconds, but I think that he's legit serious. I think Topuria is going to point down and want to bang off the rip, which I'd love to see. And then Topuria also said, with a great win, I think it was a question in Spanish, how he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. With a great legacy win like this over Holloway and already having beaten Volk, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. This is huge for his career. Again, Dana asked about Spain, not this summer 2025, but at some point in 2025. Now, Rob Whittaker was then asked a question, and it was about if the fans should stay up or go to bed early and wake up early in the morning in Australia. And Khamzat Chimaev did not like it. We have the clip of Khamzat Chimaev right here as he butted in. He didn't like the reporter's vibe at all.
Will be a bad morning for you guys.
It'll be a bad morning for you guys. He's serious, though. Khamzat, I'm telling you, he's got this cold-blooded aura this week. And then that reporter gave Khamzat a really snarky remark. He was like, I didn't ask you. And I think he just poked the bear because Khamzat told him to go F himself and then was telling the Abu Dhabi, crowd or the Abu Dhabi security, take this guy out of here, send him back to Australia, throw him out. That was funny. Then a question went to Khamzat in Swedish, and we got no translation because I don't know if there's no Swedish translators there. I'm telling you, it was a little bit of a messy press conference, a little bit, because there was moments that we didn't get to hear. We don't know what was said. A lot of things lost in translation. Then Dana was asked if they'll be back in Abu Dhabi, and he's like, bro, we're here every year. What are you talking about? This spoiled fan. He's like, oh, well, we only get 3 to 5 events a year. Most places don't get 3 to 5 events, but the fan, was really excited about it. And then Dana said that they are working on doing more Abu Dhabi fight cards over the course of 2025 and beyond, including fight nights, not just pay-per-views, And then the fans like, oh, we want a whole city of UFC. I don't know. He's a very passionate fan. Respect to him. I'm not going to shaft him. Max was asked about what he'll do if Topuria points to the ground in the first 10 seconds. And then Max Holloway did give an answer, but it wasn't like a confident answer. I actually didn't timestamp it, but I want to play it.
Tune in, man. Tune in. I think he didn't deserve that kind of moment. Yeah.
So tune in. This is what he said throughout most of it. And he was saying that he didn't deserve the moment against Josh Emmett where he pointed down and slugged with him. And then Topuria's like, what are you talking about? I don't deserve the moment. And then these two went back and forth for a few seconds. We'll play it out.
I will point to the ground. And
brother, we're adults. Let me talk. We're adults, brother.
Bro,
let me talk.
Down.
Calm down.
Stay quiet.
Max Holloway is pissed off. He does not like Ilia Topuria interrupting him. And throughout most of this press conference, Topuria was butting in, talking his shit. I love the aura from Topuria. Like, Topuria is literally telling us, yes, I want to stand and trade in the middle. That's some BMF shit. And the fact that Max Holloway is backing away from it, I'm sorry, but it's not very BMF-like. Like, he can say, oh, the dumbest motherfucker. Like, yo, you got a title literally called Baddest Motherfucker. The baddest motherfucker thing to do is stand in the center in the first 10 seconds and meet him. If Max Holloway does not meet Ilia Topuria after he points down in the first 10 seconds, you're stripping him of the BMF title regardless of the outcome. I got to take a sip of this. Shout out to the Coke Zero, or the Diet Coke. It tastes tremendous. He's got to meet him in the middle. He has to. It was a fun back and forth. Topuria says, let him run. I'll catch him anyways. So high confidence on the side of Topuria, which I love to see a champion talking confidently like this. Topuria was asked if this fight goes past 3 rounds. He said, no way. He said the referees, I think he was meaning the judges, they can take a break this fight, alluding to, listen, it's going to be a knockout. It's going to be clean. And Max Holloway had a little bit of a dad mode moment here because he scolded Ilia Topuria for butting in several times during the presser. Let's run the clip.
There, I let you answer like an adult. That's what you do in these things. Thank you.
He's saying, listen, let me talk. Max Holloway's pissed off. Look at his eyes. Look at Holloway's eyes. They're like this. He can't stand Topuria. Max Holloway is butthurt. Very rarely does Max Holloway hate an opponent to this extent. I can't think of somebody that he had this much disdain for recently. Please, in the comments, let me know if you can think of a recent Max Holloway matchup where he was like this bothered, because I can't. I cannot. Holloway was then asked about what's next for the BMF title, and he said, yo, it's up to the boss man, which makes sense. Dana fist bumps him. It is up to the boss man. It's up to Dana. Who knows? We can't look past this fight. So many people want to know, what's next? What's next? What's next for the BMF? Dog, he's fighting for the damn world title Saturday. The BMF doesn't really matter right now. But hopefully that one-night tournament actually comes to fruition. That'd be really cool. I believe he's a featured prelim as of right now. If I'm wrong, well, apologies, but I'm 80% sure that's what they alluded to at the presser. And they said they have big expectations for this fight, but it's not because Ibo Aslan. It's because this Rafael Cerqueira dude is supposed to be a special Brazilian talent and trains with Geoff Almeida. So keep your eyes tuned into that fight. I think it's going a different way than the expectations might be having it. Holloway was asked about his power being disregarded, and for the 20th time, we're going to find out. We'll see. We'll find out. Thankfully, Ilia Topuria caught on to this and decided to absolutely flame Max Holloway. Let's find this damn clip. Let me see. I might have to rewind a tad bit because I don't know if I have it right there. Yeah, I'm going to run it from right here.
Tune in. It's going to be fun.
Max, find out for Holloway. Find out all the time. We will find out. We will find out.
I noticed you didn't bring your...
Ilia Topuria is making a legit fan of me with all this find out crap from Max Holloway. It's absolutely hilarious, yo. Topuria's bringing fire. Topuria. Holy shit. That was fun. That was fun. I like Topuria's vibe, man. And the confidence seems to be at a damn all-time high. I've never seen him this confident before. Holy shit. He's always a little cocky and confident, but now more than ever. My God. I love the mocking. That was really funny. Whittaker was asked, you know, because he's normally a fan favorite and how he is here. He said, oh, it's probably my good looks. And no, he's not a fan favorite in Abu Dhabi. He agrees. Probably not here, but somewhere. And then Dana's asked about Holloway if he wins. Oh my gosh. Can we stop asking about what's next for Holloway? Dana essentially said, I don't know. I don't know. Now, this moment was pretty funny. A fighter literally ran up and said, hey, can I get a shot in the UFC? And Dana's like, yeah, you're in. I guess he's fighting in Korean Zombies promotion. They're giving him a chance on a Looking for a Fight episode. He's like this 7-0 Russian dude. So shout out to him. And expect to see people asking for shots in the UFC on the regular at fan questionnaires from now on. Dana might have fumbled with that. He might have fumbled. I don't know if that was planned or not, but damn, people are going to be asking like crazy. Every other event, bro, I'm a UFC fighter. I want a chance. Yo, I want a chance, bro. What's your record? I'm 5-0. I'm 1-0. I'm 5-3. Like, you're going to see it all the time now. So Dana might have just made a big mistake. Ilya was asked another question. I don't know. I think the crowd was chanting Dana, but who knows for sure. There was no translation for the question. And then Dana was asked if they're going to Spain and if it's in Madrid. And then Holloway says, we're going to Barcelona, boys. And then Topuria was funny because it seems like he does not want any part of Barcelona. He says, if we're going to Barcelona, I'm going to point to the ground right now with this guy. So he's going to fight Holloway right now. And then Dana White revealed what the move is. Where are they going? Let's see. Where are we going?
We're talking to Madrid and Barcelona.
Both.
Madrid and Barcelona. I like it. Both are options. I think that Topuria wants Madrid, so let's do Madrid. Let's do what the champ wants. Let's give the champ what he wants. I want to go where he wants to go because I trust his insight. Now, Ankalev is asked, in your fight against Blachowicz, you didn't look good with low kicks. How are you going to defend Rakic? He said, don't worry, 100%. We got to figure it out. Hamzat was then asked about a fighter that just won the belt at UAE Warriors. I guess he's an Uzbek fighter. And then he said, yeah, I hope Dana signs him. He looks good. He's a good wrestler. All right. Ilya then was asked what it means to fight in front of his family, and this is where things, I feel as though, got sincere for Ilya Topuria.
I always used to say like this, the real warrior doesn't hate what he has in front, but he loves what he has behind. So
he said he's doing it for his family. His family's his motivation. I respect that a lot. I do. I think that it's actually a pretty badass line, too, from Topuria. I don't know about you guys, but for me, Topuria is getting more and more likable by the interview. I know he's arrogant, but dude, he's a badass. And shit, Conor McGregor was arrogant AF and he became a star. Why can't Topuria follow the same path, follow the same way? Dana then was asked a question about if the winner of Hamzat Strickland jumps over Strickland and if Volk's getting the next shot. Dana essentially said, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Shara Bullet got some love. He said he's been, fighting all the time. He wants to be the most active fighter and asked Dana if he'd be willing to give him another fight if he comes out of the fight with Petrosyan, minimally damaged. I believe the Macau card is a potential option for him since he can't fight stateside. And I think all of us will be down for it. Topuria then shouted out his home country of Georgia as well as Spain, and he said he's very blessed to have two countries behind him, which I agree. That is pretty badass. And then Ilya was asked about how Holloway called him a McGregor copycat, and Ilya says he wants to beat me. I don't care. We're talking about Conor McGregor beating him. That doesn't matter. Pretty much saying that Holloway wants to be the champ, so essentially Holloway wants to be a copycat of him. All right. And then Hamzat was asked about the hair, because people are worried about long hair Hamzat, but he said, yo, it's still the same Hamzat. He respects Rob. He gave him love. He gave Holloway love. He gave Topuria love too, but he said, listen, I want to be champion. And he's motivated to become champion, seeing all the elite fighters on the damn stage. Then another question went to Max Holloway. It was about sparring. Is he sparring? Is he back to sparring? And he said, yes, I spar for Gaethje. I'm going for Topuria too. You got to spar. A fan said, hey, can I shake your hand, Dana? I come every year. I save every year for these Abu Dhabi events. I'm such a big fan. Dana says, yeah, I guess the guy got his handshake. And then Dana was getting complimented and, amazing, much respect. And this is a different guy. It's a Russian guy asking him, when's the UFC coming back to Russia? It's coming back, but we don't know. So shout out to the Russian fans. Then a young kid asked Holloway, if you beat Topuria, who's next? For the 15th time, we got the same question. Sorry to the young kid. And he said, I'm not overlooking him. We'll see. We got options. Dana was then asked and confirmed UFC Africa is happening in 2025 and it's going to be in South Africa. That's pretty badass. Could you imagine this, guys? Hamzat Chimaev wins this weekend. Hamzat, Dricus du Plessis, UFC Africa. Count me in. Count me in. Count me in. Now, to the face-offs, Hamzat looked really intense with Rob Whittaker, and at the end, he did shout out, Allahu Akbar, and he brought back the savage Hamzat we all know and love. Topuria and Holloway were intense with one another, and I got to play the clip because Ilya Topuria, again, doubles, triples, quadruples, 5 times it, 10 times it down on this 10-second bang. Let's find out. Let's see it.
Thank you, guys.
He said, in the first 10 seconds, I will be waiting for you in the middle of the octagon. How is that not BMF shit? The BMF belt should be on the line simply because Topuria, if he follows through with this, has proven to be the real damn BMF. World champ and BMF. I love to see it. Well, that was the UFC 308 press conference. Briefly ran through some of the fluff that always happens at pressers, but I think there were some fun moments, and I hope you guys enjoy the new style of press conference reaction since I run the clips. Now, the winner of the press conference is going to be none other than Ilia Topuria. I think he shined on the microphone, and even if you're typically an Ilia Topuria hater, he destroyed Max Holloway in any of their verbal exchanges. And Holloway seemed like an angry dad who was getting interrupted, not like a damn world champion. So shout out to Topuria for bringing the fire. That was the UFC 308 press conference. This was my reaction to it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely let me know what you think of these style of videos in the comments. I want to hear from the people. I got love for each and every one of you. So make sure you guys smash the likes. And if you're new to the channel and you like the style of content, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Daily content coming and hella content for UFC 308, which I'm very excited for. Much love, people. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.